Jayo Girivaradari Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramu Hare Ramu Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramu Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madhava, Radha Madhav, Jayo Radha Madhav. Jayo Panchatattva, Jayo Panchatattva, Panchatattva jayo panchatattva Nrisimhadev, 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 Jaya Jaya Nrisimhadev, 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 Jayo Nrisimhadev, Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Śrīla Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava Sakis ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Nrisimhadev Bhagavan Prahlāda Maharaja ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jayam Viṣṇu Paramahamsa Parvijacharya Shatara Shasta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Jayam Viṣṇu Padaya Paramahamsa Parvijacharya Shatara Shota Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Prem Se Kakosi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Gira Govardhana ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai, Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Brihad Mridanga ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktavrinda ki jai, Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Canto number 2, chapter 9, text 28. Krīḍasy amogha-saṅkalpa ūrṇanābhir yathorṇute tathā tad-viṣayāṁ dhehi manīṣāṁ mayi mādhava krīḍasy amogha-saṅkalpa krīḍasy amogha-saṅkalpa ūrṇanābhir yathorṇute ūrṇanābhir yathorṇute tathā tad-viṣayāṁ dhehi tathā tad-viṣayāṁ dhehi manīṣāṁ mayi mādhava manīṣāṁ mayi mādhava krīḍasy amogha-saṅkalpa ūrṇanābhir yathorṇute tathā tad-viṣayāṁ dhehi manīṣāṁ mayi mādhava. Prabhus. manīṣāṁ mādhava. Mataji's? Mataji's. krīḍasy amogha-saṅkalpa ūrṇanābhir yathorṇute tathā tad-viṣayāṁ dhehi manīṣāṁ mayi mādhava. Krīḍasy, as you play, amogha, infallible, saṅkalpa, determination, ūrṇanābhir, the spider, yathā, as much as, ūrṇute, covers, tathā, so and so, tat-viṣayāṁ, in the subject of all those, dhehi, do let me know, manīṣāṁ, philosophically, mayi, unto me, mādhava, O master of all energies. Translation. O master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all about them. You play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. By the inconceivable energy of the Lord, every creative element has its own potencies, known as the potency of the element, potency of knowledge, and potency of different actions and reactions. By combination of such potential energies of the Lord, there is a manifestation of creation, maintenance, and annihilation in due course of time, and by different agents like Brahmā, Viṣṇu and Maheśvara. Brahmā creates, Viṣṇu maintains, and Lord Śiva destroys. But all such agents and creative energies are emanations from the Lord, and as such there is nothing except the Lord, or the one supreme source of different diversities. The exact example of the spider and the spider's web. The web is created by the spider and is maintained by the spider, and as soon as the spider likes, the whole thing is wound up within the spider. The spider is covered within the web. It's an insignificant spider is so powerful as to act according to its will. Why cannot Supreme Being act by His supreme will in His own creation, maintenance, and destruction of the cosmic manifestations? By the grace of the Lord, a devotee like Brahmā, or one in his chain of disciple succession, can understand the empty personality of Godhead internally engaged in His transcendental pastimes in the region of different energies. And translation of the verse one more time. O Master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all about them. You play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible. Thank you very much. Namo Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Prashta Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharani Vishesha Shvadi Pashatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhupya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So here we Shukadeva Maharaj is telling the story, Maharaj Parikshit, about Brahma who approached the Lord. He saw the Lord in his full glory, and then he started praising the Lord. And one of the things that he told was actually that Lord, he is not different than a spider when he creates his net. The magnificence of spider and his net is that net is not different than spider, but spider is different than the net. Spider is the one controlling the net, going around. And there is the purpose why net is created, and there is also the purpose why spider is the one who is supervising everything. So basically the Brahma mentioned that all these creations, amazing creations of the Lord, are not different than the Lord himself. And although he is separate from them, they are not separate from him, and he can completely control everything, and he can completely basically supervise what is happening all around at the same time. Now, today I wanted to touch on very interesting and very important topic, which I believe it's important because now, especially, I don't know how many years back, but we start seeing that devotees are more and more knowledgeable. We have more and more devotees who are finishing different courses, who are gaining the knowledge, and by the nature, we are people, we have hunger for knowledge. We would like to know everything. We would like to have answers for all different questions. Now, what I want to touch today, even you know, I was teaching for years and studying before that, and I always wanted to know more, to see the reasons behind. So, and it's very natural, it's very normal, it's very welcome that devotees talk between themselves about different topics, but the question is how much we can really understand. This is a very important question because we can understand a lot, but can we understand everything, the full philosophy, or we can understand on the way which is given to us, and this is enough. So we will talk today, and I will give the quotes from Shastras, how much is enough to know, how much it's maximum we can understand, and where is the boundary behind that. It's very hard to understand the Lord, because nobody except Lord can understand this whole web that he is creating around him, right? So, first of all, it's nearly impossible to understand the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 7:3, manūṣyānaṁ sakashveshu kaji yadati sidaye, yadatam api sidanam kaścinman veti tatvata. It said, out of many thousands amongst men, one may endeavor for perfection. And out of those who have achieved perfection, hardly, how many? Hardly one knows me. That means it's very hard, almost near impossible, to know the Lord. We can know the certain amounts, and again we will talk about that, how much we can, but we cannot understand everything, because the Lord is much beyond our perception of intelligence, knowledge, material intelligence, even spiritual intelligence, because the Lord itself is creator of all of that. But we can understand enough, which is great news for us, right? So, in the modern time, the scientists, they're really trying to understand everything better than the Lord himself. They're developing different theories, they're developing different experiments, they're opening different labs, but they hardly scratch the surface of understanding just of material nature and laws that we live around. They didn't even touch spiritual part. They didn't touch ether. They didn't touch all those different higher elements than material nature, material energy. So we cannot really find our answers in scientific rounds. They're necessary for many different things, how to cultivate. Science can help us in certain daily activities, but to give us the main answers on topics which are of our interest, it's impossible. So only way to gain the knowledge is actually through Shastras. Basically, we need to study Shastras on the regular basis. So what we can understand, this is the main question that I would like to touch today. How much we can understand, what we can understand, and what is probably most important for us, how much is enough for us to understand, to be able to get a chance to go back to Godhead, to get a chance to understand the Lord, to get a chance to become pure enough so that we can get the higher final shelter, right? Krishna gives intelligence to those who practice devotional service sincerely. Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Everybody knows that verse, right? Tatham tesham satata yuktanam. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give understanding, but which you can come to me. So for those who are constantly devoted and serving with love, so we'll talk about these two words, devotion, devoted, and love. What does it mean being devoted? Second one, what does it mean serving with love? And they come to me. Now, the question is that enough for us? Just to serve with the love? And Krishna is not saying, if you behaving like this, you will understand. No, Krishna is saying, he is giving understanding. I give the understanding. So we have to deserve to be able to understand the Lord, to be able to understand even that much enough for us to get the benefit of everything, what we are trying to achieve every day. We need to deserve understanding. It's not that we will come to understanding. And Krishna is the one who is giving to us. He's revealing himself, and how he's revealing through our service, which we perform in love, devotional service, which we perform in love and performing regularly for his pleasure. This is the system. Now, is that understanding enough? Do we need to do more, further, ourselves, to be able to achieve perfection? It's given in the purport of the same verse. And the purport is saying, in this verse, the word buddhi yoga is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that he has spoken to him many things, and that he would instruct him in the way of buddhi yoga. Now, buddhi yoga is explained. Buddhi yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence, and yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called buddhi yoga. In other words, buddhi yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal to progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved. So this is basically the proof that Srila Prabhupada present that buddhi yoga is enough. It is enough to get understanding of the Lord and to have progress in Krishna consciousness. Now, very important is what buddhi yoga means. Buddhi yoga means that basically we have to render everything what we are in. All our actions needs to be in Krishna conscious mode. It has to be for the satisfaction of the Lord, and then that's the highest intelligence. There is no higher intelligence than that. We will discuss later 99% of this planet human beings, they believe that we are by nature enjoyers. But we want to prove them that we are not by nature enjoyers. We are by nature what? Servants. That's our real nature. That's our true nature. Once we understand our real nature, then we can progress in Krishna consciousness. That's important. Now, very important question is that word love. We are going back to that word love. It says that we need to render the service in the mood of love. How to achieve that love? How to have attitude of love when you are doing service? Is there somebody here in this room? We are all doing different services for the Lord Krishna. Is there somebody who is really enjoying his service which he's doing for the Lord, who is really, have that feeling of fulfillment himself also by doing that service and with the service itself. Can you raise up your hands? Okay, nice. So those who raise their hands, they're very close to the answer to their question, and I will explain why. Some devotees, they're making sometimes mistake, they're doing service out of service attitude, that's fine. But also you need to have that extra feeling when you're doing service, and we will explain why and how to reach that level. So the process for receiving transcendental knowledge, starting with one thing, and that's Shravanam, or hearing, right? We have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam, etc. Shravanam is the first one. It's a hearing. And one should approach, to be able to hear properly, one has to approach to the proper person for that. We can try to hear directly. We can try to be our own spiritual master, but that's not ideal start of spiritual life. We need to approach to, and very important word, another bona fide spiritual master. We should never forget that word, bona fide. And spiritual master is somebody who can guide us, who is basically somebody somebody who is opening our eyes so we can see the knowledge, and our ears so we can hear the knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita 4.3, tad-viṣayāṁ prapanipena paripashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam nas tatvā-dāshina, just to try to learn the truth of approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him, the self-realized soul can impart the knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So the spiritual master is somebody who has seen the truth and somebody who can deliver that truth to us. Now, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, he was giving here in Mayapur class 1977, that was in February 28, and he was giving class on Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, as you're hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, the process is vidnuti, or washing. Actually, it is brainwashing, but for good. Washing is not bad. Washing is good. He's probably the only person who developed any religion institution, or how they call them sometimes, sectas or whatever, that he publicly acknowledged, yes, I'm trying to brainwash people. Right? Did you ever hear somebody else is telling, no, Srila Prabhupada publicly stated, yes, I want to brainwash you. Is there something wrong in brainwashing? I mean, our brains are so much polluted that these regular washing machines, centrifuge, etc., will not help us at all. We need more powerful machine, much more powerful. And that machine for brainwashing is actually transcendental knowledge of the Lord. And there was no better person to give us than Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, yes, I'm trying to brainwashing you. So nobody could say, those newspaper people, these people are trying to brainwash. No, we publicly stated, yes, we want to brainwash people, so to give them chance to go back to the Lord, to go back to spiritual kingdom. What is wrong with that? This is actually the right process. If spiritual knowledge doesn't wash the brain, what's the point of spiritual knowledge? So Srila Prabhupada has this amazing ability to say things on the right way, in the right moment, and to be clear what he's saying. This is what we have to achieve when we are doing preaching, when we are, having any time approaching to different people. We should not think, okay, let me present in my way things. No, we need to check the audience, and we need to accommodate the way of presenting to them. So in this case, it was Mayapur in 1977, just before Prabhupada left the planet. And he was publicly telling everybody, I am my children, I'm trying to brainwash you. And this is such an amazing thing. And I'm still grateful to him after 35 years of Krishna consciousness, 32, 3, that he's trying to brainwash me. Because I feel much better after that washing, I can tell you. Now, how to achieve, we are all doing service, right? Every day we are trying to do different things for the pleasure of the Lord. There is difference between doing a service, rendering a service, and rendering a service as a pure devotional service. You know, we heard many times, pure devotional service. Now, we can do service in many different ways. Some people, they're doing service, okay, I have to go again. Oh my God. Okay, then I'm going there, then I'm sitting, then I'm pushing myself to finish some work for the Krishna, and then I'm waiting to come back so that I can have a nice prasadam at 9 o'clock. Maybe I can finish 8:45 so that I can prepare myself, and then I have prasadam. So all the time thinking about prasadam, right? When we are performing service, this is not the right attitude of doing service. This is not pure devotional service. This is a service, it's true. It's something, but it's not ideal. And it's not easy to come to that ideal level. It's not easy to push our mind. Oh, please like what you're doing. Please like what you're doing. You like this. You like this. Let's meditate. No, we cannot achieve like that. How we can achieve that, it's also given in the scriptures. You know, and the main and base for that, to learn what is important to develop attitude for pure devotional service, is given in Nectar of Instruction. Verse number 3. Uchahan nichaya dairyat tat karma pavratanat sangatvayak satoritek sabir bhaktik prasidyati. And, of course, you all know translation. For me, Sanskrit is a little bit hard, but English is a little bit easier. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Number 1 is being enthusiastic. Number 2, endeavoring with confidence. Number 3, being patient. Number 4, acting according to regulative principles. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Viṣṇu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Those are principles we are talking here, not innocent sex and everything. It's those, right? Number 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And following the footsteps of previous acharyas. Number 6. If we try to follow these 6 principles, then we have a good chance, I'm not saying chance, we have a good chance to develop the proper attitude to have a pure devotional service towards Lord. It's not that we will have it instantly, it's not that process is happening immediately, but if we try and try again and again, if we are hard in our trying, one moment we will achieve a very nice level that will please the Lord. And then we are very close to what we are trying to achieve. In the purport of this verse, number 3, Nectar of Instruction, it said, devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. It is suitable, is practically, its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, very important verse, he has defined devotional service as follows. Anyabilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. Means uttama bhakti or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Involve the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable of the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoted to fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. So, what is very important here is to remember that we need to render service on such a way that is favorable towards the Lord, not unfavorable towards us. That should be the difference. You know, we have tendency sometimes to perform devotional service for somebody, but to be more favorable towards us. In this case, it has to be favorable towards somebody that for whom we are performing service, for somebody who's supposed to get pleased with that service, and that's the Lord in this case. And how we can do that? By giving maximum of ourselves. Giving maximum of ourselves will only reach that level that is favorable towards the Lord. Nowhere is said that we have to perform it perfectly, because we are not perfect. Nowhere is said that we have to perform extra hours, this and that. No. It's only said that should be favorable, and that means that we have to give maximum ourselves. Now, the question is, since we are talking about service hours and everything, how many years we have to perform that service, and then we achieve the ticket. We got ticket for spiritual world, we put it in pocket, now I can do whatever I like, I'm waiting to leave my body, and that's it. You know, sometimes we are very serious, enthusiastic first few years of our spiritual life. Very enthusiastic. I remember my first few years. I thought I'm spiritual, I'm not material. Running everywhere, flying, thinking that, wow, I can see the world with real eyes, you know. I believe after 2 months that I have opened third eye. Such and such things, you know. Now after 30 plus, I don't feel all these things, I can tell you. I feel some other great feelings, but not that. But there's certain parts of that service which needs to stay. And there is also the timeline for that service, how long you have to perform. And Srila Prabhupada was giving one story. It's more kind of Bengali joke, right? When it was 1976 in Vrindavan. You know, he was giving a class, again Srimad Bhagavatam class, and he told a story, Bengali story, that he mentioned that the name of the story is Gayagam Akalejam Charena. I'm not sure exactly what does it mean, but the point is that gu in Bengali means stool, right? And he was saying that there was one intelligent person who was trying to trick Yamaraj. And he was thinking, okay, so how am I going to do that he doesn't come to pick me up? And then Viṣṇu Dutas come, I just go there and finish. And he was telling, you know, Yamaraj is actually a gentleman. He's a very nice gentleman. He doesn't like dirty things, right? So I will cover myself completely with stool every single day and night, and when time comes of my dad, he will not pick me up. He will just leave me. And he's saying he was maybe materially intelligent person, but he was stupid enough to believe that that will help him. Sometimes we develop such attitude. Sometimes we are very serious until enthusiasm is there. How enthusiasm is coming down, how we start getting habits which are very unhealthy. This is when we start believing, okay, if I do this little bit less, it's not a big deal. I'm already Vaishnava, I'm devotee, look at me. We should not do that. We cannot trick anybody. We can only trick ourselves. And that's not really intelligent. That's maybe material intelligence, but it's not spiritual intelligence. So that's why it's very important, first of all, to understand that Bhakti Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, the service attitude, needs to stay for the rest of the life, until the last day, and even after, but after it's more easy if we get the right place. You know, until the last day of our existence, that means the job description is not until 65, then you got pension, you're retired. You can travel, you can enjoy, you already achieve your perfect. No, it has to be up to the last day of our life. Lifetime commitment. Then also in the purport of Nectar of Instruction, verse 3, it said, one should accept this opportunity to return home, back to Godhead, very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in the material world, one has to be very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to become successful. A student, businessman, or artist, or anyone else who wants success in his line must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Enthusiasm means action, but action for whom? The answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishna Takila Cheshta, Bhakti Rasamrita Sandhu said. That means one of the main characteristics of our service, and basically not our service itself, but us when we are performing service, is that we have to be enthusiastic. Soon as we lose enthusiasm for the service, we either need to reset ourselves or maybe to find something else which is inspire us more, something more according to our nature to endeavor. And especially in the later year of Bhakti Yoga, it's okay to do a lot for Krishna, but it's always very welcome to do things which will inspire us, which will satisfy us. In that case, even we can trick our mind to be enthusiastic. In that case, our full being will be enthusiastic about service that we are performing for the Lord. I notice in my personal life, if I'm doing something that doesn't make me so enthusiastic, I don't feel so. I'm also trying to finish and to move on. But if I'm doing something that inspires me, or that I can engage some talents given by the Lord or skills or whatever, I feel very enthusiastic. I feel very inspired to stay there and to perform that better and better. And this is important thing to think. So enthusiasm is something which is very important. Then the next question is, how should be our attitude when we are performing service? Okay, service is for lifetime. We need to be very enthusiastic, but what can we just do like easy, or we need to hard work for that? And again, there is the story that Srila Prabhupada gave in Vrindavan 1972. Basically, it's not a story, it's just comparison. When they ask him about how hard we have to perform our devotional service, Srila Prabhupada was saying, you know, the lion is the king of the jungle. But it doesn't mean that lion is just lying down and animals are coming one by one and telling, oh, my dear lion, please, if you can just open your mouth, I want to jump in. Please eat me. No. A lion also needs to work hard to get what he needs. So basically, Srila Prabhupada said that we need to work hard. He mentioned few other points in that class also about kings, presidents even. Presidents, they have to work very hard to achieve what they're achieving. It's not that, for example, many people in the world are calling President of the United States like the most powerful man on the planet. But believe me, those presidents also, they have to work very hard. They have their limitations. They have so many rules and regulations they have to follow. And they work day and night, basically. They can wake them up every night. They cannot just put phone on fly mode like we can do, right? Or silent or whatever. They need to be all the time there. So without hard work, it's not possible. It's not possible to achieve perfection in devotional service. That means we have to be ready to work hard. And in Mayapur now, we are almost here for 20 years, me and my family, and I saw many amazing devotees who are really working hard all the time to do something for the Lord. And also, one advice I got in the beginning of my Krishna consciousness, now I understand more and more how important is that advice. To keep myself busy, to keep mind busy all the time. Mind which is not busy is mind which creates trouble later. Minds which attracts certain questions, difficulties. Mind which is busy all the time, it's mind which is peaceful. So basically mind, the secret of the mind, and I was teaching psychology for a couple of years in Smith, the secret of the mind is that he just wants to work all the time. He doesn't want to stop. He's like machine, all the time working. What you're giving him, he's trying to work with that. You are the one who is deciding what you're giving him. If you give him 6 hours lying in the bed doing nothing, and you already rest 8 hours before that, mind will try to do something on that, and mind will tell you, okay, I need to work, and please give me a mobile phone. Bam, you find out everything what's happening around the world in 2 hours. Okay, we have 4 hours more. Okay, give me, yes, ISKCON gossip. Give me ISKCON gossip. Open. Okay, that's not enough. Okay, let's find mistakes in philosophy. Let's try to do that. Then let's see what, it's a restless machine. That's why it's very important, it's very critical for devotees. Because our minds are not perfect. Our work is towards mind making our best friend. But while mind is still not there, we need to be careful. We need to direct mind in the right direction. And that means giving mind some spiritual food, giving mind some spiritual tasks. And there he will help us as a best friend. For example, you have devotees who wake up every morning 3:30. They finish few rounds. They go to the Mangalarati. Then they finish another few rounds after Mangalarati. Then they go for the morning program. Then after morning program, they start performing their service. And then in the mid-time, they have a breakfast. They continue. You are busy whole day. You don't even have time for anything else but to render service, to read Shastras, to come for the class. And that's safe zone. In that safe zone, mind is still happy because he's doing some nice thing. You're giving him tasks to finish, to achieve, but you don't have problems. We don't have problems in that case. In that case, mind is our friend. Mind is helping us. If we put ourselves in position that we don't have anything to do. I had one devotee came to me just 4 or 5 days ago, and he was telling, Prabhu, I don't know, I don't have what to do here in Mayapur. I don't know what to do. And I said, if you can find devotional service somewhere in the world, that's Mayapur. There is no better place for that. We have thousands of things to be done. So you need to ask devotees who can give you service, one by one. Please, is there something I can do? I'm sure just 2-3 hours give yourself. You will find something and keep your mind busy. And he did that, and 2 days later he found a very nice service. He's quite happy now, and this is the way. We cannot just sit and waiting things to happen. We need to go and to look for things. This is the hard work, right? Now, again, Nectar of Instruction, verse 3 in the Purport is written, in all phases of our life, one has to perform devotional activities under direction of spiritual master in order to attain perfection of bhakti yoga. It is not that one has to confine or narrow one's activities. Krishna is all-pervading. Therefore, nothing is independent of Krishna. And another is, under direction of bona fide spiritual master, one has to make everything favorable for Krishna's service. So, that connection with spiritual master, it has to be the right connection. And we need to be very closely connected with our spiritual master. And closely connected doesn't mean we have to be next to him all the time. Doesn't mean we have to break the door upstairs and just jump inside and sit and say, I read in Shastra, I have to be close to my spiritual master. What you want? Let me be next to my spiritual. No. Being connected with spiritual master means through instruction also. Means we can listen to class, we can read, even check, reading Shastras, reading Srila Prabhupada's Purport. This is also a connection with our spiritual master because he's disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So basically we have to connect with previous acharyas, right? Now, there is I don't know how to explain that properly, but sometimes we believe that we can achieve something on easy way. That we can just perform a little bit, we give a little bit, but in exchange we get a lot. And again, it was very interesting story Srila Prabhupada gave during one class. He was saying that one man, he was very negative and he was living in very poor family. And his wife was also full of problems because of that. So he wanted to change their position. He wanted to become successful, right? And then he started reading all these books about positive thinking, about positive this, positive that. And he was reading one thing, he remembered, money attracts money. So if I have money, money will attract money. Okay. So and then instead of going further, learning, getting engaged, working hard, he simply took one bag of money, the remaining money that they had in the house. He went to the bank, he came inside of the bank, and he put money on that table in front of that lady who is working there, and he just sit and wait. And the lady was looking at him and asking, "Sir, may I help you?" He said, No, it's okay. She said, "So what you need?" He said, "No, I brought some money and I'm waiting because your bank, you have a lot of money. I'm waiting your money to come on my money and then I'm going home." Money attracts money, right? And lady was watching, he said, no, sir, actually, I think you misunderstood. Our money will attract your money. This is bank. And then he understood. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. Money attracts money yes, it's true, but means if we get knowledge how to make certain amount, then we will develop that knowledge, making again and again the same process and in developing ourselves, and then we can attract more in our life. It's not that we just take and copy paste and that's all, that's it. Job done. We can go to our lazy surrounding at the end. No, we have to work hard. But what is one of the most important, if not the most important characteristic for somebody who is performing devotional service is determination. Who doesn't have determination? He can try to work hard. He can try to be enthusiastic. He can try to be positive. But without determination, we're not going to last long enough. And long enough means for the rest of our life. So determination is something that is very important. And there are many stories from Puranas, right, about determination. For example, there is the small bird who lost her eggs in the ocean, and the ocean took eggs away, right? And then I think it was a sparrow, right? Yes. And then she started, she asked ocean, please give me my babies back, my eggs back. And ocean said, no, sorry. And then she decided, okay, let's dry the ocean. And then Garuda saw the whole scene and came to help his sister. And basically in that, ocean took seriously and he returned the eggs back. That was all determination. Only determination. Doesn't mean that things will happen because we are so small and insignificant. But some force, something will come to our favor and it will help us to finish. So we know that being determined to spiritually advance and to render devotional service for the rest of our life is not easy. But if we are determined enough, even if we come into trouble, even if we perform some mistakes, something will happen. Krishna will send some representative or send anybody, even some our friends, enemies, relatives, doesn't matter, just to help us to go back to the right path again. There is, I don't know if I have time. For example, Dhruva Maharaj, right? He wanted kingdom. And by worshipping the Lord, he's got something much valuable, right? Even sometimes you're trying to achieve something, you got something even better. And his words was, I came to the forest in search of glass pieces, but attained diamonds in return. Then he thought all his previous desires for worldly pleasure were just because of his ignorance. He got the higher taste. But he was very determined all the time. I remember one scene with my spiritual master. He's called Jayapataka Maharaj. I'm coming from a little bit turbulent zone. East Europe was in some years very turbulent. There was a war in Bosnia. I'm from Serbia. And there was a lot of tensions around the area. And then there was a bombing, NATO bombing my country for 3 months. So a lot of disturbed people. And in that time, it was in Serbia, at least a couple of years, we didn't have any spiritual master coming. No, but it was dangerous. Nobody was coming. So sometime he was going to Slovenia, Croatia to see different spiritual masters. And then 2002, I was in India. I was here for a few months. And I came back, and then Guru Maharaj, we got in touch, and he was saying he wants to come to Bosnia. Bosnia was very, very dangerous at that time, Serbia even more. So basically, somehow we arranged, because it was easier for him to get Bosnian visa. He came, and we spent 6-7 days in Bosnia. But then, when he came, he turned to me, and he saw, I said, Guru Maharaj, we can only 7-8 devotees from Serbia could come. It was not possible to get visas or anything. And he looked at me, and he was saying, I want to go to Serbia. Then I look at him, I said, when? He said, now. I said, Guru Maharaj, now means this year, next year. He said, means after Bosnia, straight to Serbia. And I said, it's not possible. And he said, what do you know what is not possible, what is possible? Let's try. So while we was in Bosnia, everybody was enjoying class and this and that. My services was to get a visa for going to Serbia. I went 2-3 times there in embassy. Every time I come back discouraged, because these people are like lemons squeezing me. They don't giving to anybody visa that time. Nobody got visa, they told me in Sarajevo, in Bosnia, for 3 months for Serbia. Nobody. And Guru Maharaj said we have to get a visa. And one day Guru Maharaj told me, I'm going with you. So Guru Maharaj, his desire was so much and his determination. He dressed like a businessman. He has his whole suit and everything else. And we was going, and the story was that I should tell that very important American businessman is coming. He needs to help some of our industry, so we are organizing several important meetings in Belgrade and around. This person needs to come. And I have so many political connections, this and that. I know a few people, but they're just secretaries, few places. It's nothing serious. But Guru Maharaj said, you just said you have connection, so we are not lying, right? We are just saying things a little bit, yeah. So we went there, and first we was waiting around 3 hours for some person to meet us, to talk to us. And I was losing my patience. I wanted to leave. Guru Maharaj just sitting and reading newspaper. But you know how actually he was watching what's happening around. He was checking the room, he was checking everything, trying to figure out some big point where he gonna... And then after a few hours the person came. Obviously he was from some service or something like that. And he started asking questions. Then he wanted to check if Guru Maharaj is really a businessman. He started asking questions about American business. This question, that question. This was running for almost 45 minutes. Guru Maharaj was answering every question like expert. I was watching like this. I didn't believe that he knows all that. It's unbelievable. And then this man was impressed, and he told me on Serbian language, so he's important. I said, he's very important. If he doesn't come now, the whole economy will collapse in Serbia. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll check with Belgrade. Then another person came asking some technical questions. And to make long story short, after 2 long days, we got visa for Serbia. And Guru Maharaj was the first person entering Serbia by car from Bosnia at that time. And it was all because of his determination, because of his desire to serve. So he was not sitting and telling it's not possible, it's not doable. If you try hard enough, everything is possible. And that was the moment when he proved me that. And since that time, I'm trying my best to develop that attitude. Even when I love when people tell me something is not possible. Let's try. I know my Guru Maharaj, I know I'm not him, but let's try it. Let's try with his mercy and mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Maybe we can try to achieve. That's supposed to be our attitude when we are performing devotional service. That's a perfect example. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Pramanande. Hari Hari Bol. If you have any questions, any comments, please. They told me to finish 9 o'clock, so I'm trying, yes. Yes, Mataji.
Oh. Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for your class.
Thank you.
You talked a lot about spiritual enthusiasm and
yes.
Spiritual taste. So my question, how to recognize real spiritual taste and real spiritual enthusiasm, and how to distinguish it from material enthusiasm. For example, some kinds of devotional service I liked. Mm-hmm. For example, I like playing Mridanga and reading Srila Prabhupada's books. But in other types of devotional yes. service, I don't like as much. So, can you explain, please?
That's a normal. We all have different natures. I mean, before it was more clear in different yugas who is Vaishya, who is Kshatriya, who is Shudra, who is Brahmana. Now it's a little bit mixed up because it's Kali Yuga, but we have different natures and different activities are suitable for us more and less. Also, for example, those who has more of artistic abilities, right? They're more into that world, like art and music and everything. And one time, Radhana Maharaj told me, he was coming to visit our school, and our art teacher, she was late to meet him. Instead of he to come later, maybe because he's a busy man, no, she just came later. And I was quite nervous, but he told me, don't worry, this is normal. I said, what is normal, Maharaj? He said, usually artistic people and people with disability, they don't mind about time, they don't mind, they're very, like avadutas, you know, they're very flexible, you know. Well, these accountant people who like numbers and everything, they're very pakka about time, they're really pakka about coming and everything. So there are different natures of the people and different things. That's why I told you that it's try to see yourself better in something which is suitable for you. At the same time, it's always good to be connected with spiritual master, because he will know better what is. Sometimes spiritual master is telling us to do something which we don't like or we don't want, but still is excellent, is very good for us. I will tell you a story. One of the most successful yatras that we have at the moment is Russia, Ukraine, and all those countries. The most of devotees, serious, sincere devotees abroad, besides Indian devotees, are coming from there. So how that yatra developed is a very interesting story. Harikesh Prabhu, known as Shri Viṣṇupad, etc., he was servant of Srila Prabhupada for many years, couple of years, not many. Nobody was many years servant of Srila Prabhupada, couple of years. And then Srila Prabhupada decided in one moment to give him sannyas. Basically, giving sannyas means you cannot serve me anymore. Sannyas cannot serve sannyasi. You know, brahmachari can serve sannyasi. Sannyasi needs to go and to preach, right? And Harikesh had a serious desire to go to serve under Damodar party. You know, the Radha Damodar, they were having those buses with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. They were traveling around. They were doing enthusiastic Sankirtan. But just when he was about to leave, day before that, Srila Prabhupada came again in Mayapur here. He came to Harikesh telling, no, I want you to start preaching in Russia. He was shocked. That small word shocked. I think that was going with him for his life, even up to today. Every time he's mentioning that story. You know, Srila Prabhupada said, please do that. He didn't know Russian language. He didn't know anybody there. He's sannyasi. He's not even usually Prabhupada was sending couples, right? 2 couples here, London, 1 couple there. This was one sannyasi. And so basically he went, and this whole history about troubles of first devotees in Russia, salted bread book you can read, all these things happened. It happened after Harikesh came first time and after his first preaching. Of course, Harikesh was another determined person, so he achieved it. And today, if Srila Prabhupada didn't told him to do that, we will not have this kind of enthusiastic zone like we have today. So sometimes we have to perform something that we don't have some great taste just for the pleasure of spiritual master and ultimately pleasure of the Lord. But in generally, you know, you don't need to push yourself to do things which are not according to your nature. If you like more mridanga than some other service, you know, try to improve and to develop yourself in that regard. Because you can play always Hare Krishna. You can play always mridanga for the Lord. You can, you know, join the kirtan. You know, just have some authority on the top of you and try whatever you're doing to do perfect. So it's not so much really what we are doing. It's more how we are doing what we are doing, how we are performing. This is what we spoke today. It's our attitude, right? It's not what. Choose something that you like and then try to become perfectionist in that. Because you're performing for none less than for the Lord. Not even for some king, it's for the God himself. You know, and then just have to be serious in the endeavor and everything will open. Also, sometime I notice when I don't like something, it takes only 15, 20 days to change that perception. If something is given to us that we don't like, if we really try hard to learn about that service, to improve ourselves, after some time the taste is coming. Because even in the modern psychology, they're saying every habit can be changed in 15 days. If you repeatedly trying to make new habit, after 15 days, you will start getting easier. It's going to be easier for you. You will start developing taste for that new habit. So that's something that, you know, we can always try if we get some service that we don't have taste at beginning. Yeah. Okay? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Can you explain these contradictory words? You said by nature we are a servant.
Sorry, bye?
By nature we are servant.
Yes.
And also we know that the nature of the soul is Satchit Anand. So it's looking for happiness. So
yes.
Obviously where there is happiness, there is enjoyment. Can you explain the contradictory?
Well, they are not contradictory, first of all, at all. When we are performing something which is in our nature, then we are happy. Satchidananda Gaur means that, we are always as a soul looking for the happiness. But the question is, what is really making us happy? What is really making us happy? So if we are closer to that, what is making us happy, then we are happier, right? First, we have to recognize who we are and what is our real nature. Why we are always trying, for example, I know that you as a person, you're always trying to develop different seminars, different opportunities for devotees, to engage as much as possible devotees. Basically, you're trying to serve them, to be able to make them happy, and ultimately that happiness is creating happiness for yourself as well. I have similar nature. So the point is that, and everybody here in this room, the point is that many people around the world, they're thinking that they will get level of Satchidananda Gaur by trying to enjoy themselves. And they have certain happiness. But that happiness is very short-lasting. That happiness is very small comparing to stress and suffering, how much we need to engage to be able to get that small happiness. And when you turn that into, okay, let me try to serve others, we are still getting Satchidananda Gaur, but in much, much bigger scale, because we are getting closer to our real nature as a servants, and this is actually what creates happiness for us. So I don't see basically Satchidananda Gaur and Dasanudas as not connected with each other, basically. As a matter of fact, once we recognize ourselves as Dasanudas and start to behaving like that, in that case we are getting towards Satchidananda Gaur. In that case, we start receiving happiness, and it's not hard anymore to be Dasanudasa. And basically we start developing desire to serve the Lord Himself also and other Vaishnavas. So, yeah, this is connection. Thank you very much. Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Dandavats. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Paramanande. Hari Hari Bol.